observe what is the meaning of the fouling factor in the heat exchanger, okay, or in any material that is which is using for daily heating purposes. You observe that one is the a fouling factor. Okay, in the household villages, in the village side household, what they are using that one is the for the if the members are the more in the house, okay, if the number of the members in the house are more, then so they are using the bigger vessels for heating the water for bathing purposes. That is okay. One for long time they are using that is the vessels. So if they are long time they are using, they will not clean the that is called as a vessels which is used for the boiling the water. That is okay. That's the white soot formation will be taking place. Okay, white soot formation will be taking place. So I'll use this pictures here. Here you see that is the white soot formation will be taking place on the surface of the material that is. Okay, so this white soot or any dirty particles, understand? Any dirty particles or white soot is called as a fouling. Is called as a fouling. So the fouling will reduces the rate of heat transfer. Okay, this fouling will reduces the rate of heat transfer that one is. Understand? So this is called as a phenomenon of this phenomenon is called as a fouling. So this fouling, okay, this fouling we need to consider the in the design of the heat exchanger. Understand? We need to consider in the design of the heat exchanger. Okay, so how you need to consider in the design of the heat exchanger? What is the fouling factor? Understand? So you need to discuss in the today's class. That is the fouling factor, the use of the any a heat exchanger or any heating elements for the long time, the white soot or dirt particles formation on the surface of the material will be taking place. This dirt particles or white soot so decreases the rate of heat transfer. Okay, decreases the rate of heat transfer. So that is called as a fouling definition. Okay. So what is the tunnel? So these are some examples. Suppose that one is a heat exchanger. So this is the dirty, okay, dirt, okay, which is accumulated on the surface of the material, which reduces the rate of heat transfer. So this is also called as a dirty particles, which we can call this one as also a fouling factor. So in this picture also we white soot formation on the surface of the heat exchanger tubes will be taking place. This white soot also decreases the rate of heat transfer. Okay. Here in this case also you observe that is the dirty particles, and here in this case also pipe. Okay, heat exchanger pipes. You observe that it is the this of type of the dirt particles. Okay. So this mute yourself. Okay. So this type of pipe also inner side or outer side, the dust particles formation on the, so that's a heat exchanger will be taking place. So this is called as a fouling factor here. Then what is it? Consideration of fouling or scaling? Understand? Consideration of fouling or scaling in the heat exchanger during the normal operation of the tube surface gets covered by the deposits of ash. Okay, suppose in the power plant, which is the dirt particles, ash or soot, so and dirt and scale, etc. The surface of the cover plate, okay, surface of the cover, that one is the plate, which is so covered by that one is the ash, soot or dirty or anything that one is a scaling, okay, deposited on the surface. This decreases the rate of the heat transfer from the plate to the some other fluids that is. So that is called as a fouling factor. This phenomenon of rust formation and deposition of fluid impurities are called as a fouling. So this is the, what is the, some important points we need to observe that one is in the Pauling factor. Okay, what is that? First point, phenomenon of rust formation. Rust, so after using the long time, okay, that one is any heat exchanger, if you're using the long time, so that to get corroded, okay, that one is a rust formation will be taking place, okay. So that in the heat exchanger, on the surface of the heat exchanger, it reduces the rate of heat transfer. So this is called as a Pauling factor, that one is, okay. So due to the Pauling factor, the phenomenon of rust formation is also called as a Pauling factor. Thermal resistance increases. Understand? So heat transfer rate reduces means it indicates that thermal resistance increases. What happens if the thermal resistance increases? Heat transfer rate will be decreases. Understand? Okay? If the fouling or deposition or soot occurs, that is the phenomena of fouling occurs, it increases the what is called as thermal resistance on the material that is. Understand? Next one is the performance of heat exchanger decreases. What is the purpose of the heat exchanger? Purpose of the heat exchanger to transfer the heat from one fluid to another fluid. If the phenomenon of the Pauling factor occurs, then what happens? The performance of the heat exchanger, effectiveness of the heat exchanger will be reduced as that one is. Okay, so that's why the performance of the heat exchanger is decreased as that one. Next one, effect of scale on heat flow is considered for designing. Okay, suppose if you want to consider, so if you want to design the heat exchanger, okay, anyhow that means the a formation of the soot will be taking place. In the design, we need to consider that the Pauling factor also. Understand? So in the power plant that one is the, it is not possible to clean the heat exchanger daily. Understand? Because of that one is a sophisticated equipment, and this one is a more hazardous in the nuclear power plant or in the thermal power plant. So in that cases, okay. So the performance, the effect of scale, okay, effect of the scale on the heat flow is considered for designing the heat exchanger also. Understand? So that is the why they are considering the Pauling factor, that one is okay. Then HSI, that one is the heat transfer coefficient of the inside surface. If the pipe is there, the inside surface coefficient will be different and outside surface coefficient will be different. That one is, understand? HSI is called as the heat transfer coefficient of the inside surface, and HSO are called as the heat transfer coefficient of the outside surface, that one is, and heat transfer coefficient for scale deposited for the inner and outer surfaces. So what that one is, HSI and HS naught, and heat transfer coefficient for the scale deposited for the inner and outer surfaces. Okay, in the design, what this indicates that in the design we have to consider HSI also HSO, inner heat transfer coefficient, as well as the outer heat transfer coefficient we should consider for designing the what is called as the heat exchanger, that one is. Then, so next one is thermal resistance to scale formation on the inner and outer surface are thermal resistance to scale formation. Understand? There will be a thermal resistance for the inner surface as well as the outer surfaces. Understand? There will be a thermal resistance for the inner surfaces of the heat exchanger as well as the outer surfaces of the heat exchanger. That's why we need to consider HSI and HS naught, that one is okay. Thermal resistance to scale formation on inner and outer surfaces are here. Okay. Next one. So these are the one of this one is the examples here, that is the clear pictures how that one is the fouling will be, that is dust particles or ash or soot, so which is accumulated on the surface of the heat exchanger or surface of the pipe, that one is okay. Done. So these are the how you understand what is the fouling factor and what are the important points in the Pauling factor that is we discuss about that. One is it is necessary to consider the Pauling factor in the design of the heat exchanger. How and why you so that one is we understood by discussing these points here. That one is okay. Next one is suppose here that one is RSI. RSI is equal to 1 upon HI HSI. What is RSI? Resistance to the inner surface. Resistance if the pipe is there in the heat exchanger. Resistance of the inner surfaces. How we calculated? That's divided by 1 upon AI HSI. What is the HSI here? Heat transfer coefficient of the inner surface. Heat transfer coefficient of the inner surface. Then resistance to the outer surface, RSO. This is called as a resistance to the outer surface. How to calculate that is? So 1 upon A naught HS naught. Understand? So this is the how to calculate the resistance of the inner surface and resistance of the outer surfaces in case of the Pauling factor is need to consider in the design of the heat exchanger that is. Okay. Then, so if you know how to calculate the resistance of the inner surface and resistance of the outer surface, reciprocal of the scale heat transfer coefficient HS are called as a Pauling factor. Then what is a Pauling factor? That's a RF. RF is called as a Pauling factor. Understand? Reciprocal of the scale heat transfer. Understand? That is scale heat transfer coefficient HS. Okay. Reciprocal of HS or HI are called as the Pauling factor that one is. Understand? Reciprocal of scale heat transfer coefficient HS are called as a Pauling factor RF, and so one is RF is equal to 1 upon HS meter square. That's a degree Celsius per watt here. That is. The Pauling factor can be determined by experimentally. So for clean and dirty surfaces. Understand? Clean and Pauling factor can be determined experimentally for clean and dirty surfaces. That is RL. That is called as 1 upon HS. So 1 upon U dirty minus 1 upon U clean. What is 1 upon U dirty? Overall heat transfer coefficient for the dirty. So that one is the heat exchanger. Overall heat transfer coefficient for the clean heat exchanger. Okay, so that's like that you need to calculate. So reciprocal of scale heat transfer coefficient HS are called as a Pauling factor. The Pauling factor, how that one is experimentally we can determine. Understand? So by considering that one is the clean heat exchanger and dirty surfaces clean heat. So dirty surfaces heat exchanger that one is. So you can identify the what is the Pauling factor RF. Understand? The Pauling factor RF can be that is equal to 1 upon HS. What we determine here, that is equal to 1 upon U dirty minus 1 upon U clean. What is the U is? That is called as the overall heat transfer coefficient for the dirty heat exchanger and overall heat transfer coefficient of the clean heat exchanger when it is clean and when it is dirty. So you can identify the what is called as a Pauling factor RF here. That one is okay. So next one, consider for the heat transfer. Okay. So heat, how to calculate it? If you consider that is the what is called as the heat transfer. So Pauling factor. So how you consider that one is the Pauling factor in the heat exchanger. So in order to calculate the heat transfer rate, that one is okay. This formula is already given in the data handbook also. When you consider that one is the Pauling factor for the heat transfer rate, Q is equal to temperature difference. Understand? This is the denominator part. Numerator part is the temperature difference, that is divided by 1 upon AIHI plus 1 upon, so that one is the AIHI here, that one is plus 1 upon 2 pi LK. That one is called as the resistance of the that is called as the material thickness. If you consider the material thickness, okay, this is called as the thermal conductivity will be appearance in this case ln of R0 divided by Ri. So this is particularly for the cylinder pipe. Okay. So 1 upon A naught H naught, that one is okay. A naught HS naught. So 1 upon A naught H naught, that one is okay. So this we need to consider. So Pauling factor in the calculations of the what is called as a heat exchanger. In the when you consider that one is the Pauling factor. So this formula which is available in the data handbook, that one is okay. So then how to calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient? Understand, if you considering the Pauling factor in the design of the heat exchanger, how to calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient? Suppose in the numericals, what you know, calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient based on the inner surface area. Understand? Based on the inner surface area, they may ask, or outer surface area, they may ask that one is. So based on that one is inner surface area and outer surface area, that is UI and U naught. Okay, consider for the overall heat transfer coefficient. Okay, if you want to calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient, suppose if it is a pipe is there, understand, inner surface area will be different and outer surface area will be different. So because of that one is the thickness will be, if you consider the inner surface area, no need to consider that one is called as the thickness here, that one is okay. So that one is the based on, so what the formula is given, that one is, so the overall heat transfer calculations of the overall heat transfer coefficient is depending upon the whether it may be based on the inner surface area or outer surface area. In the some numericals, okay, they can ask that one is based on the inner surface area, or they may ask, so even the outer surface area. If they doesn't ask anything, write the one that we are calculating the overall heat transfer coefficient based on the inner surface area, then you have to use this formula, that is Ui is equal to 1 upon Hi Rfi plus Ri divided by K ln of R naught divided by Ri plus Ri divided by R naught Rf naught. Okay, so inner surface area Pauling factor, outer surface area Rf naught is the outer surface area Pauling factor. So plus Ri divided by R naught 1 upon H naught here, that is. So if you consider the inner surface area, so you have to use the overall heat transfer coefficient based on the inner surface, that is denoted by Ui. Okay, then outer surface area. Okay, so if you want to calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient, understand, overall heat transfer coefficient based on the outer surface area, understand, based on the outer surface, you have to use this U naught, U suffix to the naught, U naught, that is equal to R naught divided by Ri. So 1 upon Hi plus R naught divided by Ri. So Rfi plus R naught divided by K ln of R naught divided by Ri plus Rf naught. Okay, Rf naught, that is okay. So that is plus 1 upon H naught here, that is okay. This formula you have to use this one is. If you consider the overall, if you need to calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient based on the outer surface area. Okay, why you need to calculate the Ui and U naught overall heat transfer coefficient? Because you need to calculate the heat transfer. Q is equal to UA delta T, UA delta T or theta m. Understand? LMTD method. Okay. Q is equal to U into A into theta m. That is calculations of the heat transfer. So that is called as, if it is in the LMTD, or that is calculations of the heat transfer in the NTU method also. So if it is a Pauling factor in the design, if the numericals they mention the Pauling factor, you can take that as Pauling factor in the calculations of the overall heat transfer coefficient. So any doubt here?
No, sir, no doubts.
Yes? Then?
No, sir.
Yes. So if they ask anything that is the what the polling factor, write a note on, write a short note on polling factor. So you have to write like this, okay? Anyhow, that one is the a formula is given in the data handbook. You can note that one is the formula from the data handbook. First of all, you have to write here these things you have to write in the polling factor. Then you have to write what is that one is the how to calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient. If you consider the polling factor, then you have to represent these two formula based on the inner surface and outer surfaces. You have to so write like this. Okay. So then reciprocal of that one is the scale heat transfer coefficient HS is called as the polling factor. You should know these things that one is. Okay. So this is regarding the polling factor. Okay. If the tube is thin, understand, if the tube is thin, okay, if its tube is thin means there is no thickness, understand, there is no thickness. If it is though there is no thickness, thermal conductivity will be, so you can consider as a zero, understand. If the tube is a thin, so in that cases, U naught is equal to 1 upon Hi plus H naught, correct? If the tube is thin, there is no outer radius. Understand? If there is no outer radius, you have to use this formula. That is called as U naught is equal to 1 upon Hi. Means that one is, so whenever that one is the R naught is there, that is called as the zero. Outer surface area, that is called as a zero, that one is. So substitute all these things, that one is, you will get that one is the U naught is equal to 1 upon Hi plus H naught here, based on that. So this is the formula. If the tube is thin walled, okay, thin walled, so this is the formula to calculate the what is U naught is equal to 1 upon Hi plus H naught. Simply you have to substitute and calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient based on the outer surface area. Okay, so regarding the formulas and all these things, go to the data handbook of the page number I think 160 or 165, I think that it is in the heat exchanger chapter. So you will get these formulas that it is. Okay. Then, so this is what is the meaning of the Pauling process? What is the meaning of the Pauling process? What are the parameters affecting the Pauling factors? And how to prevent the fouling and properties to be considered for selection of the material for the heat exchanger. We need to discuss about that. Okay. So this is a very important as per point of your enhancement of the analysis. Okay. Okay. These are the very important terms. So what are the polling process? What do you call that one is a polling process? Corrosion. Corrosion is happening to the material. So this is also called. This is also called as a, so that is called as a dirty. Understand? So corrosion is also called as a polling here. That is okay. Okay. So this is the corrosion. 1 minute. So I will 1 minute. 1 minute. Yes, you are getting my voice. Yes, okay.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, this is the okay, precipitation of the precipitation or crystallization. Okay, if you are heating the material,
Sir,
precipitation
something
is
is
the
coming, sir.
crystallization.
Please. Some pop-up is coming, sir.
Yes, 1 minute. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Precipitation or crystallization fouling. Understand? Some more number of the heat, so that one is the much and the heating of the material will be taking place. The crystallization of the materials will be taking place. That is due to this crystallization. What happens? That one is the precipitations will be formation, or that is also that also affects. Okay, as per the research, that one is the as also affect, that one is the heat transfer, that one is okay. Sedimentation or particulate fouling. Okay, so fouling process, some of the sedimentations will be taking place. Understand? Or the particulate so matter will be formation on the surface of the heat exchanger. So that is also called as a fouling process, that one is okay. That's also affect the rate of heat transfer and overall heat transfer coefficient of the heat exchanger. Corrosion, okay, this is corrosion, okay, dust formation, okay. What do you call that one is there? Due to the oxidations of the metals, okay, the corrosion will be taking place. So that also corrosion also affects the heat transfer rate. That one is that's why the corrosion is also a fouling process. That one is okay. It also because it also affects the heat transfer rate of the heat exchanger. A biological fouling. Sometimes that an algae. Understand? Algae will be forming. That one is the if you're using the more water, and that one is the greenery, that is called as the algae, or sometimes that one is the shooting, that one is the white formation will be taking place, that one is the that's a, whatever that one is the biological things, that's a formation on suppose if you know that one is the more number of the water will be so on the for long time, then the sometimes that an algae or something or anything that one is the greenery formation will be taking place. That also affects the heat transfer rate of the material, that one is there. Okay. Then, so freezing. Okay. So that one is the freezing is also fouling, that one is okay. So that is how it affects, that one is the we come to know what that one is. What is the freezing? Freezing, that one is called as a cooling. Okay. So that one is the if the material is that one is the which is used for the freezing purposes, that is it will not transfer the much amount of the heat, that one is okay. So that is a freezing fouling, that one is okay. Then, so parameters affecting the fouling. What are the parameters affects the fouling, that one is velocity. So that one is the velocities also affect the fouling, that one is understand. Okay. Then temperature. Temperature is also affect the fouling, that one is okay. If the temperature increases, then what happens? That is water chemistry. Water chemistry is also affect the what is called as the that's affect the fouling, that one. Then two material. Okay, two material. If you are not using the proper material, then what happens? The precipitation or crystallization. Okay, so what it indicates that is the fouling process is also due to the precipitation or also crystallization, that is. That's why the what material you are using for the heat exchanger, that also this parameter is also affect the fouling, that one is water chemistry. So if you are using the dirty water, understand, if you are using the dirty water, any pound water or ponds water, that one, any that one is the water which is somewhere you are taking the water from the industrial application. Okay, so water is not so clean, understand. So in that cases, the dirty water, it will be affects the what is called as a fouling, that one is understand. So this also leads to the fouling factor will be taking place. Temperature, if the temperature is increasing, decreasing, that one, it also affects the what is called as the fouling, that one is understand. Okay, that's the temperature is the most important parameter, so that affects the fouling also. Then velocity. If the velocity is increases, understand, velocity is decreases. Okay, if the velocity is increases, that one is, then fouling is not so much. And if the velocity is decreases due to the viscosity, that one is, the fouling will be formation will be take place. It reduces the heat transfer, that one is the as per the research purposes, you come to know about that one is the, so this velocity is also affect the parameter which affect the fouling, that one is. Then how to prevent the fouling? Understand, how to prevent the following methods may be used to keep the fouling minimum. Design of heat exchanger. You have to need design. Okay, you have to design by considering the fouling factor. By considering the fouling factor, then we can design the heat exchanger. If it is also a minimum amount of, so that means the fouling will be take place, then which it will not, that one is the or affect the what is called as the expected heat transfer rate. That means, understand? Okay, so that's why design of the heat exchanger is very important. Then treatment of process system. Okay, treatment. Okay, treatment of the process. Suppose that the process system. Okay, so heat exchanger system you are using for the power plant purposes. So you have to treat regularly. That one is, you have to check that one is whether the fouling is occurred or not. That one is, you have to clean that one is. Okay, so treatment means that one is that you have to clean with the some of that technological, using the technological method. That one is also. Then how to clean that one is that is called as the treatment process, treatment of process system. That one is, understand? Then by using the cleaning system, understand? So properly you have to repair the equipments and cleaning the what is the equipment which is used for the heat exchanger. By cleaning that one is all these things, we can reduce the fouling factor. Then we can prevent the fouling factor. So fouling, that one is on the heat exchanger. Then so the properties to be considered for the selection of material for the heat exchanger. So physical properties we need to consider, mechanical properties we need to consider, so climatic properties we need to consider, and chemical environment we need to consider here. So these are the properties to be considered for the selection of the material for the heat exchanger. Physical properties. What is the physical properties? Physical properties of that one is material properties. That one is, understand? Okay. So suppose the water is there. What are the physical properties of the water? What are the physical properties of the any material? Understand? So why in the calculations we taken that density, or that one is the Prandtl number, all this thing. Then what are the mechanical properties? Okay. So mechanical properties we need to consider that one is, okay. So what are the mechanical properties of the stress, strain, and what is the resilience, and all those things we need to consider for the material. So in order to design the heat exchanger. Then another one is the climatic conditions. What are the climatic conditions in the industry? That one is we need to consider. Because of that one is the cloudy climate conditions. Okay, suppose it is in a summer, or summer is a more temperature across that one is, okay. So still is the, so we need to, in the way that one is the applications of the heat exchanger, in the what conditions they are using that one is, that climate conditions we need to consider in the design. So in the design of the heat exchanger, that one is, okay, for the selection of the material, that one is. So suppose chemical environment, okay. So if you select in the aluminum, or if you are in the aluminum, that one is, suppose if you using the alcohol as a heat transfer fluid, that one is, whether the aluminum, how it react with the aluminum material, understand? Suppose if you taking the stainless steel material, that one is, okay. So and your alcohol as a heat transfer fluid, that one is, okay. Whether this alcohol is react with the stainless steel or any brass material, or any that one is the carbon content materials, that one is, or graphene materials, all these things, okay. So chemical, which fluid you are using, okay, which fluid you are using for the heat transfer rate, okay. So that's also consider this in order to selection of the material for the heat exchanger, understand? So these are the physical properties, that one is, and other one is called as the mechanical properties and climatic properties and chemical environment, okay. So chemical environment, that one is, which is in which cases which fluid you are using, that one is the, so that's also considered. So that one is the, in order to select the materials for the heat exchanger, that one is, okay. So next one, that one is, so these are the some of the fouling factor, okay. What we listed here, that one is the some of the fouling factor we need to consider, that one is. Suppose that one is the fluid is there. Understand? What is the Pauling factor? As the research said that one is the research. So many research happened in the Pauling factor of the heat exchanger. Seawater. Suppose they are using the seawater, then what is the Pauling factor? Okay, that one is the below 50 degrees Celsius is there. The Pauling factor for the seawater is 0.0001 here. That is. Understand? Okay. For the clean river and lake water. Okay. So that is the temperature. That is the Pauling factor in the range of 0.0002 minus 0.0006 here. Like that, well water means that is what in the Kannada you say that is a bavi neer anta karitivalla. Okay, that's well water. What is the Pauling factor that is? Okay, so and like that, distilled water, treated boiler feed water, the worst that is the water used in the heat exchanger is less than 0.0002. Pauling factor is less than 0.002. Fuel oil and crude oil, the Pauling factor is 0.009 because of what is that one is the viscosity is more. Okay, understand? So viscosity is more. The fuel oil and crude oil viscosity is the more. Hence, that one is the Pauling factor is also that one is the more. That is kind of 0.009 here. That one. Industrial liquids. Okay, industrial liquids. What we are using that is the Pauling factor of the industrial liquids is also 0.002 here. That is like transformer oil or lubricating oil. So that is the heat. Engine exhaust and fuel gases also having a what is called 0.002 here. That is the Pauling factor. Steam, non-oil bearing. Okay, steam non-oil bearing that is. So Pauling factor is 0.0001 and refrigerant liquids, brine or oil bearing. Thus a Pauling factor should be that will be the 0.0002 here. That is understand. So these are the fluid which having the Pauling factor what we listed here, that is okay, some of the fluid and what is called as a Pauling factor here. That is. So this is about the Pauling factor. That is okay. Next one is then how to calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient. Okay, for the plain wall is there. Okay, suppose heat exchanger. So they may ask the questions that is the calculation of the overall heat transfer coefficient. Understand? So for plain wall. For the plain wall, U is equal to 1 upon by K, 1 upon H naught here. Okay, so 1 upon Hi plus L by K, 1 upon Hi. Hi is called as the inner surface heat transfer coefficient, and H naught is called as the outer surface heat transfer coefficient. L by this is called as the resistance. Understand? L by K is called as the what is called as the resistance of the material that is. Okay. And second thing, if it is a tube, inner surface of the tube, how to calculate the that is called as the UI, okay, UI based on the inner surface, and based on the outer surface, how to calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient, okay. So overall heat transfer coefficient, this formula without the Pauling factor, understand? We are discussing only about the overall heat transfer coefficient. If you consider the Pauling factor also, what we discussed in the previous slide, we have to use that formula if we consider the Pauling factor. If you are not considering the Pauling factor, so in that cases, RF or RI is equal to 0 and resulting formula it should be written here. That is. Understand? Okay. So overall heat transfer coefficient, if you are not considering the Pauling factor, so you can calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient based on the inner surface, that is called as UI. So based on the outer surface of the tube, U naught, okay? So U naught will be, so this is the overall heat transfer coefficient can be calculated. So using these equations, this is for tube and this is for the plain wall, where UI and AI is equal to U naught, A naught. What is the A? AI? AI is called as the surface area based on the inner surface area. Understand? AI is called as the based on the surface area. Suppose if you are calculating the UI, Okay, suppose if so they asked to calculate the overall heat transfer. Okay, heat transfer. In that case, you calculated UI based on the inner surface 2. Then you have to, next step is you have to calculate the heat transfer Q. Q is equal to U A delta T, understand, or theta M. If we calculating U is based on the UI, AI, okay, A, area, how to calculate area, you need to calculate based on the inner surface, okay. If you are calculating the outer surface area, then you have to use called as outer surface area in order to calculate the heat transfer. Okay, you have to mind it, that is, understand, okay. So Q is calculated. How you calculating that one is the, whether it is based on the inner surface area or outer surface area. If we calculating the UI based on the inner surface area, you have to, in order to calculate the Q, you have to use the inner surface area. If we calculating the U based on the outer surface area, overall heat transfer coefficient you calculated based on the outer surface area, then for the calculations of the Q heat transfer, you have to use the outer surface area A0. Understand? So this is the how to calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient, that is for the heat exchanger. They may ask the question, certain is the already formula which are available in the data and book. So inner surface area based on the outer surface area and based on the inner surface area, overall heat transfer coefficient is nothing but the heat transfer takes place per unit area, per unit degree temperature difference for the entire heat exchanger. Okay, for the entire heat exchanger, that is called as the overall heat transfer coefficient, or that is called as also that is the definitions of the overall heat. What is the SI unit of the overall heat transfer coefficient? Watt per meter square Kelvin. Understand? Watt is called, that one is the heat transfer. Meter square is called as the area, and Kelvin is nothing but temperature. Okay, that is watt per meter square Kelvin. That is called as the SI unit of the overall heat transfer coefficient. So what is the definitions of the overall heat transfer coefficient? We said it is for the entire heat exchanger. Okay, for the entire heat exchanger, that is, if we consider the pipe, anything, that one is the for the entire length of the pipe, that is the how much amount of the heat transfer, how much amount of the heat transfer will be taking place per unit area, per unit degree temperature differences. That is called as the overall heat transfer coefficient here, that is. Okay, so this is the end of that one is the what is called as the heat exchanger. Then at next week we will solve that one is the sum of the numericals in the heat exchanger, that one is there. And in the next classes we will discuss about the some of the theoretical part only, theoretical part of the so what is called as a convection and post convection. Saturday and Friday, I will discuss about the convection part only, that one is. Okay, so this is 2 classes are required. So that's a very important what on 2 days what I can so teach that one. Okay, because the almost all the important questions I will cover that one is, and I will teach that one only. So that is the 5th model, that one is. Okay, that is actually is the 4th model. So I have taken that one is at the last. That's right. Okay. So do you have any questions here?
No, sir.